it looks as though Hollywood is finally saying the quiet parts out loud as we have the new Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out at the end of the month. Doesn't look like a particularly good movie. It doesn't look like box office material, shall we say. So I find it funny that for whatever reason, the writers on this movie have decided to come out and I guess ensure that it's a movie that people don't want to see. Because apparently the Dungeons and Dragons movie intentionally emasculates its leading men. I wonder where we've seen that over the course of 6 years or more. It's just something that has been overdone at this point, that it is so boring. Yet, for some reason, these writers seem to think that this is a fun and fresh idea. Now, it's a very strange article for how they go about and, you know, decide to say, yeah, we emasculate the leading character. Right, so first of all, why should I be invested in this character? That doesn't really give me a reason to, does it? But they say the Dungeons & Dragons movie writing team revealed they intentionally emasculated the leading men in the film and put the women on the front lines. So again, your goal should be for me to have investment in all your main characters, yet you just put the women on the front lines. They're perfect. They have nothing to overcome, nothing to learn. Whereas the male characters are just useless. Absolutely useless. So, again, how many times have we seen this now? And yet they seem to think this is a fresh take on our heroes. But let's go into some of this article, because it is very strange in how they talk about it. You're kind of just left confused. It's like you use one word and then you describe something completely different. But they say Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves writing team John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein revealed they intentionally emasculated the film's leading men, though not for wokeness. And they seem to reiterate that as like many times, that, oh no, we're not doing it to score points. It almost seems as though that they've kind of stepped in it and realised, oh, that's not going to go down well at the box office. That is going to put people off coming to see it. So they've just went, oh, it's not for this though. That's my kind of guess on it. But they say, while speaking with Variety, Daly and Goldstein discussed how Michelle Rodriguez's Holger the Barbarian and Sophie Lillis's Doric the Druid tend to engage in the front lines of battle compared to their male party members. Again, where have we seen that? Where have we seen that 1,000,000 times? That was not an attempt at wokeness on our part. I just think they've just realised, oh shit, we should have said that. Daly elaborated, they use the word elaborated. They don't really. They're not quite precise in what they mean. It's almost like they don't know the meaning of emasculated. Saying, swear to God it wasn't. We like that Holger is the bruiser that does the dirty work for Edgin, and he doesn't like to get his hands dirty. We also love emasculated leading men. Why is that something you love? And again, they're the ones using this term. I don't know why. Because the way they put it down here, I don't understand how that is a emasculation. They say, after reiterating that the reasons did not pertain to woke, so you've now had to reiterate that 3 times, the pair explained that they wrote the men that way because they find it funny and fresh. I guess they haven't seen many movies or TV series lately if you think this is funny and fresh. So essentially all you're telling me is you're putting out a movie that is just going to be one and done. It's not going to be something anyone is going to watch again because it's something that isn't fresh. And I don't really get the funny part to it either. Oh, he's useless. Right. I don't really see the joke in that. It's just like, oh, right, you've just made a character useless that, again, your goal should be me being on their side, wanting to see them win. And you're going, nah, look how useless he is. He's funny. Root for this useless guy. Pointing to Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman's characters' date night with Daly and Goldstein also wrote, they also aim to do similar things with Tom Holland's Peter Parker and Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark in Spider-Man Homecoming. So when was the emasculation of Peter Parker, a 14-year-old boy? How you emasculate a 14-year-old boy, I don't know. And then, so yeah, I don't really know what they're talking about. It's like, well, you didn't emasculate Peter Parker or Robert Downey Jr. in Spider-Man Homecoming. So I'm a little confused. It's something that you need to explain more. Because I'm just like, that didn't happen in that film. So I don't, and I've even heard in the date night film, that isn't the case either. So I really don't know what they're talking about. But they say here, we like our male heroes to be challenged and not simply heroic. That's generally how it works. So it just makes me think you haven't seen many movies if you seem to think this is a new take. Every hero, at least used to, that we've seen had challenges set in front of them that they had to overcome. But it's funny that you're doing it exclusive. You're pointing it exclusively at male heroes rather than female heroes as well. Again, when you have a film like Dungeons and Dragons, we're going to have a set of main characters, and surely you want me to root for all characters. So you would make sure they all had challenges that they had to overcome in order for me to be invested in them. Yet you're just going, nah, we're going to make our male heroes dumb as shit. And when we try and explain to people what we're doing, we use the term emasculated, and then we say we're doing this. We're doing this, which is not emasculating. I don't get why. Again, they're using the term emasculated, and then they say this, which is, yeah, that's normal for a hero. It's a normal thing. This isn't a fresh take. This is normal to have challenges in front of your heroes to overcome. So yeah, no one's got a problem with that. But again, you've used the term emasculate. So I'm a little confused on what the fuck they are talking about. But even just with the being challenged part, it's like, yeah, if you have just the males being challenged and not the women also, then what is the point of me investing myself in any of the characters? Do you want me to hate the female characters? I don't know what they want out of me. But they're using the term emasculate, and I'm just confused by it. It's something that the pair found surprisingly difficult to achieve with leading actors in their films. While they did not name names, they noted that they'd had experiences with a couple of male actors in the past who refused to look weak or vulnerable in a film. What? Yeah, but we've seen that loads of times. This is nothing new. However, they had the opposite problem with Chris Pine, who plays Edgin the Bard in the movie. Instead, Pine reportedly enjoyed making himself look as bad as possible, almost to a fault, to the point the team had to remind him he had to look heroic in some scenes. So now you're giving me inconsistency. When we see this film, my guess is in certain moments we're going to see him absolutely fucking useless, and then later on we're going to see him being heroic, and then we're once again going back to he's going to look as bad as possible. You're just then creating an inconsistent character. So I don't really get where they're coming from. But again, they are using the term emasculate. I guess all I can take out of it is all the men look like, little useless twats, while the women are just perfect at everything. When the idea is to get me on the side of all of your main characters that are the heroes of the story. But instead you're just, making the males look bad and the females look great. So yeah, it's just the same thing that we've already seen. But yeah, it's just very strange that they've decided they've spoke about this. We like our male heroes to be challenged and not simply heroic. Yeah, I think that's what everyone wants. But it seems like it's just exclusive. You're not doing it with the female characters, something that we've seen plenty of times. So many times that it is just, why bother watching? Why bother watching if you're not in fact doing something fresh? But it's very strange, and it's very telling that they use the word emasculates. Again, I'd have to ask them what they mean by emasculate, because what they've said, it doesn't come across that way. And then I suppose with the Chris Pine stuff, that he makes himself look as bad as possible. Yeah, it's just it's not going to work. But I mean, was this movie going to make money in the first place? I don't think so. It looked a bit corporate-y to me. Didn't really look like there was a lot of passion there. It just looked like, oh, we're in for a dumb movie, really. You know, something that I'll probably be covering anyway, because I mean, just look at it. It looks like a good laugh to cover, but it didn't look like a good movie in the first place. And I think if they intended to try and make money, straight away, a lot of people were just going to read that headline and go, no, I've seen that before. I'll just leave it. So that's probably the route this movie's going to go down. It's not going to make a difference anyway, because that was always going to be the case. But it's just very strange, and I guess they're coming out and now telling us what we already knew.